So this one is called Doomer Rage Quits the Internet. By the way, I know who Doomer is. He's formerly Doomer Politics. Now he goes by Doomer Media. I don't have anything against the guy, honestly, but I am looking forward to the next Vosh video that he's gonna make. So, but he was on the podcast that was from I think over a year ago. This was the highlight. So EFAP stands. So the abbreviation is actually pretty amusing. So EFAP stands for every uh, frame a pause, or I think I could be wrong. Let me see this. Every frame a pause. Goodbye to 2020. Oh, so that it took place in like 2023.
How much is that franchise worth? Like
every frame a pause. Yeah.
$10 billion,
Well,
$100 billion.
So like, oh, the game sucks, and then Edge Runners comes out. It's like, let's play fucking Cyberpunk again! Yay!
Hey, it made good shit, and then especially people went back to find the game was in a better state. It was a lot more stable.
Yeah.
And things like driving didn't feel like shit. It's actually one of my newest videos.
Cyberpunk wasn't that bad on the PC.
I mean,
Well,
like,
people exaggerated a bit.
It was pretty. I had same.
Yeah.
It was a bit buggy, but it was still fun. It wasn't like
I
a
thought
dog
so.
shit.
I mean,
Well,
if maybe you can get lucky with PCs. The mass majority, from what I've heard, had like really big problems.
I had a pretty good PC.
I mean, back in the day, the Batman game that came out, I could play that. Like, it was one of the lucky people.
Arkham Knight, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that ran pretty fine for me when I played it back in the day.
Meanwhile, for other people, it was an absolute.
Yeah, so basically almost
Yeah.
everyone else was like really
Cyberpunk
shite.
ran quite well for me, but it was still like there was a lot of just fundamental design things that were kind of fucked about Cyberpunk. Like, and a
like
lot of
the
them
open
are
world
improved
not being an
now.
open world.
Yeah, I feel like Cyberpunk, the game when it was released, like day one, it was a pretty. I want to say it's completely unstable, but it had some problems when running it on the PC.
From what I've seen.
I don't know how long it took for it to like actually like fix shit to where like it's actually doable to be played. Because I remember Copan used to play Cyberpunk, and it was the same with Chips as well.
I don't think Chips played it.
Yeah, I don't remember. We need to get Copan on this reaction podcast.
Yeah, and I mean, what I actually found I recently did 2 playthroughs of it, and then made like kind of an updated impressions video, the Edge Runner update. And the one thing that I noticed about it was that it seems that if you just treated the first act of that game, like prior to meeting the Johnny Silverhand character, like the Keanu Reeves character, if that was fleshed out to be a good chunk of the game, where like you really were encouraged to do things like run gigs and the side jobs and everything, then you actually end up doing kind of what the intention of the game always seemed like it was supposed to be, which is becoming a legendary edge runner of Night City, like a mercenary that runs the Afterlife Club. But
that's all I did. The fucking story sucked, so I was like, "Fuck this," and I just walk around.
I mean, I don't even think the story is terrible. It's just it kind of the ticking clock element of it, I think, really kind of fucks with the gameplay.
No, I can't really speak about the Cyberpunk 2077 story of myself, but I mean, I did watch the anime, the Edge Runner.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite different, isn't it? A standalone story.
Yeah, Edge Runner is more like a. It's a standalone. It's used to like promote the game, but the anime, I can say I love. It's pretty good. I like it.
Loop, because you're kind of.
What games have you played? What games have you played?
Most games barely have a story.
You're full of shit.
That's a fucking story to Zelda or fucking Mario. Like,
Jack
Nintendo.
True, because usually when you play, no, Zelda got some alright story. I mean, have you ever like? There are some good Zelda games out there, like Majora's Mask. I never played Breath of the Wild before, but as far as I know, Breath of the Wild has some interesting parts to it. Now, if there's a story that you don't usually care about in Zelda, like and this Zelda on the NES, Super Nintendo. and all this such. But like, no, there's some good ass Zelda games that have story. Like if you play Majora's Mask or the such. I don't know about Mario and story. I mean, old ass Mario games, you don't. Here's the simple plot about Mario. You save the princess, and then all of a sudden, the moment you see go in that fucking castle, sorry, the princess ended up in another castle. You can remember that meme? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's one company.
It's pretty funny that
right,
what games have you played this year? Out of curiosity.
Let's crank up Steam. I'll go down my fucking Steam list.
Dude,
Crank it has a good story.
Crank up
okay,
Steam.
New Vegas has a good story.
Man,
wow.
There you go. Fallout New Vegas is you know the good thing about Fallout New Vegas, you can fucking mod. That's the thing about you can mod the shit out of it.
So your statement is invalid already, Dave.
Yeah.
What did you say? Hold on.
If there's one, then
I
that
said
can be all.
I hate cutscenes, and I don't give a fuck about stories in video games. I just want to play the game.
You said more. Hold on, I'm fine.
At the same time, different genres of video games have different reliance on specific elements, with a pretty significant one in a lot of games being story. Yeah, there's tons of games that you can play that have no story and just are designed more around their mechanics.
I mean,
but at the same time, to say that like all video game stories are shit, it's like, well, I mean,
okay, first
you don't
hold
care.
Wait, hold on. So what you said is you've never played a video game with
everybody.
What you said is you've never played a single video game with a story you've given a shit about. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that I don't give a fuck about stories in video games. I play for the gameplay. I don't like. If I want a story, I'll watch a movie or read a book. I won't play a video game.
Then why did you then need to
God.
go through your like Steam list to talk about good or bad like stories in video games?
And immediately you saw
because I asked him to.
New Vegas is loaded.
You act
with
like
good
that was a completely fucking insane statement. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go check. And I found one. There's New Vegas has a pretty good story. I don't see a
That was
single
like the
other one
first
here.
game you even mentioned.
Honest, but
Now-
like, what's interesting about you picking
There's
New Vegas though is
150
I would
games on my
argue
Steam.
that. But New Vegas is arguably a game that's got 150 decent stories in it that have nothing to do with each other.
Would you like a story
you picked
better?
A game
if
that is extremely dense with several stories.
I don't play video games for a story. I never, under any circumstances, want you to stop me from playing
Under
the
any
game to watch a fucking.
I mean, if you really want to play a game just for like story and dialogue shit, you're better off playing like fucking Telltale games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's that's a bad example I would make because Telltale because like Telltale games. I mean, there's even like point and click games can have some story. Like, well,
Yeah.
And
It doesn't ultimately matter about the medium so much as just the delivery.
yeah, it's all about visual novel is particularly a niche genre, but it's just you can click through just for story as well. But you know,
Yeah.
gotta add some fucking game. I mean, technically JRPG is like Persona. It has like some visual novel aspects to it, but get what I mean.
Cutscenes about some shit. I just don't want that. I want to play the game.
So
but I mean, that's
what
kinda
if the
like
story is
saying,
told
like,
well without cutscenes?
Yeah, like in what game are we talking about?
The hypothetical game that he mentioned.
Well, hypothetical, yeah, a game that has
It's
no
already
cutscenes,
theoretically
it's all-
possible, so you can just agree with the theoretical, right?
I mean,
Being
you baked in the conclusion. I mean, like you're like, well, what if the story was told really good and like you just didn't even need to pay attention to it?
No,
It's like,
it
well, then
was
I would hold
told
down the
through
fucking.
the game.
Whoa, I never
No,
said you didn't need to
told
pay
through the
attention to
gameplay.
it. That's not what I said.
Told through the gameplay is what Das said.
Yeah.
So like no cutscenes, it's all in gameplay. Like while you're exploring freely, you can move about how you want, interact with the world how you want, and get the story at your own pace.
Journey.
Is there an example of this?
Journey.
He just said Journey.
Well, you
yeah.
don't actually
don't know
need
what
an
Journey is.
example,
I've
though.
never
That's the
played
point.
Journey.
You don't need one though.
By the way, me and Caesar are not usually experts when it comes to video games, so don't come to me with like that kind of I mean, not everyone. I mean, here's the thing though, right? You don't have to force yourself to play like every sort of video game, right? Like everyone have their own like favorite genres and all that stuff, you know?
I'm an expert at making terrible takes. How about that?
Oh, there you go. I mean, I mean, if Copan was in this voice chat, then if Copan was in VC, then he can also spit that out. He can also spit too.
I mean, I think he's probably got better takes than I do because he actually plays games with stories. Typically, I play games with minimal stories or don't pay attention to the story.
I mean, we're biased. I mean, we've been playing Halo just for the sake of story too.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Halo's story is if you just take it at face value, it's kind of but there's a lot of cool side content that you need to go deep diving for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do, because I don't even know what you're talking about. Like,
did you know that it's an indicator of low?
Have you never played a game without cutscenes?
Engage with hypothetical.
I've never played a game without cutscenes that have a story that I gave a shit
Oh
about.
my god, you don't know what environmental storytelling is?
Stop it.
Okay, give me an example. If this is such a fucking obvious thing, then give me an example.
You gotta stop doing that. Like, you just got given an example.
Okay, have you ever?
I haven't played that game.
Remember, I'm gonna give you an example right. Have you ever played any survival horror game in which you see a trail of blood leading around a corner?
I've like literally never played a horror game.
Oh my god!
You never played a horror game? Really?
No, I don't like horror. I don't like it in video games. I don't like it in movies. I don't like horror. Period.
I mean, not everyone is into horror games. Okay, so I guess. Yeah. See, I think the problem with like horror games nowadays is like they usually just crank out horror games and just put in like cheap jump scares like that and all this stuff. But I think the good thing about horror games is like we need like environmental effects. We need like some something that gives like the horror aspect of the experience to it.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to use like VR to like experience horror games. My opinion. I mean, it could work for some people, but I can give you some horror movies. I mean, horror movies. What the fuck am I saying? Horror games. I enjoyed the few old Silent Hill games. Some few Resident Evil games. I love Amnesia: The Dark Descent. There's some few and Penumbra series. I've not played Soma before, but Soma is made by the same developers that made. I don't know if I would say Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I like the aspect of Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's like when more games like lead like on and on, and, sometimes it get a little bit tiring, in my opinion.
Like that.
It's not even okay. First of all, hold on. No. Now I'm fucking triggered. This isn't a take. I'm not saying story and games are bad. I'm saying I don't give a fuck about them.
They gave you counters to your argument, and you went all the way back to I don't care though.
I'm not making a prescription that video games shouldn't have fucking stories.
No, you didn't pay attention to how the argument went. They gave you a counter, and you said I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I've never enjoyed it.
Your initial statement was fucking inaccurate.
I care about.
Doomer,
is there such a game that has a good story without cutscenes? The answer is yes, both theoretical and with proven examples. And then you went, but I don't care about it. That's a fucking shit response. Get over it!
You're telling me you think it's good. I'm telling you I wouldn't give a fuck.
No! You said, tell me about a game that is a good story that doesn't have cutscenes. You were given examples, bitch.
Happy New Year.
I was not expecting this to get this heated. Uh-oh.
It'd be nice if their microphones were a bit more equal in volume.
The problem is like there's like how many people? Like 9 people in the fucking voice in VC, including Doomer. They one with the fucking otter smoking a cigarette. By the way, it's a pretty cool image, pretty interesting. I like that little image. I wonder if it was commissioned. But I don't know. Like I feel like one is like really loud. One is like extremely loud over the other. So,
yeah.
But I mean, then again, like not everyone has equal audio.
Here, everybody.
I think you can mend the divide here. So
I'm glad that we don't have to start off the new year with a terrible Doomer take. We can just end with one.
In America, we don't have to begin the year, but in Britain, we did.
Doomer, film.
This isn't even a take. This is you guys fucking getting triggered over nothing. It's not a take. Saying that I don't like horror movies is not a take. It's not saying that horror movies are bad. No, it is not.
Yeah, it is.
It's just my preference. I'm not saying anything is wrong with horror.
Wait, what? What did he just say? Hold on.
triggered over nothing. It's not a take. Saying that I.
In America, we don't have to begin the year, but in Britain, we did.
Film.
This isn't even a take. This is you guys fucking getting triggered over nothing.
I don't think disagreeing with Okay, what is the level of being triggered? Like lightly disagreeing with someone, or just me like saying like, "Oh,
no, I wouldn't
I
call
think
that triggered.
What the fuck? What is the? I don't get
triggered is if you've got like a knee jerk, what the fuck reaction, or if you flip out.
I mean, I'm lightly disagreeing with like some of the people saying that. I might see. That's the problem with some people nowadays. It's like if I disagree with someone, or maybe if like let's say if I disagree with someone in this server, does it make me triggered? I don't. How can you tell? You know, that's the real question. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of a comeback is this? I was like, come on, man.
Why'd you even give the challenge?
Okay, wait, hold on. No, we can walk through.
You know what? I wasn't right about that. That's kind of it.
I spoke too hastily, of course.
Because like,
if I say
he does. Oh, this guy does make a good point though. Like, see, he said that horror movies suck because they come off as like predictable rather than like giving like, you know, some sort of atmosphere. It's the same that applies for like some generic horror games as well. Because like, why make like jump scares that make it so predictable? It's always just goofy shit, you know. Yeah.
You can have a good horror without jump scares.
That I don't care about a class of thing. Can you?
Yeah, like look at games like Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Look at Resident Evil. I played Resident Evil 7 like a year or two ago. Resident Evil 7 is fun. It has like the story has like some sort of inspiration to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know? Yeah, I like Resident Evil 7. I'm currently playing Resident Evil Village at the moment, where it's where instead of like, you know, this swamp like mud monsters, you're fighting like werewolves and vampires and shit. So, and then, of course, I'm already spoiled, but you know, Resident Evil Village has the like, you know, the vampire mommy dommy, you know, however you can call it.
Show me something that I would give a fuck about, and you show me something that's like, okay, I don't give a fuck about that. How does that disprove anything that I said?
Well, but that's not what happened though. Like,
did I at any point say there's something wrong with? No, stop. Let me talk. Did I at any point say there's something wrong with storytelling in video games, or that you're wrong for liking storytelling in video games, or there's something wrong with cutscenes? Did I make any claim like this at all, or did I just say that I personally don't like it? And is there anything wrong with it? Because I can give you an analogy. An analogy is somebody saying, I don't like violent movies. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, so again, because it'd be nice to at least like sort of pin down on this one thing, was that you asked for like if the claim is I don't give a fuck about stories and games, I hate cutscenes, it follows that a logical question that somebody might put forth is like, well, what about like environmental storytelling in games? And then you even like asked for examples. You asked for examples, and then when the examples were provided,
I'm not asking for examples to prove that storytelling in video games suck. No, shut the fuck up.
You did.
I'm not asking for examples to prove that it's bad. I'm asking for you to give me examples to figure out if I would give a shit about them, and you didn't present any examples that I would care about.
Yes, we did.
So you presented something that I care about.
No, sorry. If you say that you hate cutscenes and that like that seems to be a big barrier in terms of your enjoyment of a game, like and whether or not you'd want to engage with a story, if you get presented with examples of games that don't have cutscenes that tell a story, how can you not factor that into your assessment? Like, how is that something that
you are not understanding me? The fact that there isn't a cutscene doesn't mean that I'm suddenly going to give a shit about the storytelling in the game. I don't care about that.
So again, the discussion.
So then, why the fuck do you bring up cutscenes? You should have just said, "I don't care about story in video games." Full stop.
The cutscene was the point. Like that's the only thing I said. I didn't like the fucking
environmental
storytelling
is very relevant.
Yeah.
If cutscenes were the point.
Well, cutscenes are supposed to be a part of the story. It's supposed to explain to you what the fuck's in that, you know, happening at, you know, all this stuff, right? Like,
I mean,
like, can you imagine me like playing like fucking Halo, and then almost during recording, I'll be like, "Yo, you know what? This cutscene's stupid. I'm gonna skip it." Can you imagine how fucking stupid I will
you
look?
just miss a lot of things.
Then I'll miss I'll miss like a lot of some of the important stuff. I mean there are some some middle school stuff like like for example when like fucking Cortana teleporting Master Chief to the fucking the Covenant cruiser and then he turned him upside down. It was like I mean it's just a goofy cutscene, but the whole point of the whole point for that it was like he was supposed he has to save fucking Captain Keyes before gets infected, but it's already too late. What the, dude? I could never imagine myself getting like upset over just during a fucking video game discussion. It was like, oh, I normally I could just sit here and be like, oh, okay, whatever, sure, no, but it's like, oh man. I mean, it did happen to me with during the fucking. I guess this similar thing that happened earlier was like the whole when I was talking about the whole video game piracy thing. So one of my friends um don't like video game piracy because like it also affects the current when the current games comes out and then people pirate it also affect the the fucking corporation or something like that. But I'm like, well, sure. And then I brought up that I was like, wait, hang on, because my argument with video game piracy with one of my crewmates on another server was like, I think the reason why I endorse video game piracy because think about it, there are old games. What if you can't get access to it within like a local flea market in your area, or like online, for example? I mean, have you seen games that get on sale online that cost like over $100? That's the thing, right?
I'll use Fire Emblem as a perfect example. Where the fuck are you going to find copies of like Radiant Dawn? The answer is you likely won't.
I mean, yeah.
And if you do, it's an absolute steal, and you should probably upsell it anyway, unless you're a collector.
And this is why I like emulator. Some people say, well, there are some. I know there are. Okay, here's the thing. I know there are some people out there that are against video game emulators, but like, think about it. There are video game emulators out there that are just it just nobody out of support. And there's usually this whole argument with like Nintendo yada yada, but it's like here's the thing though, right? I love the old PSP. I love like the old PlayStation games. I love like fucking Super Nintendo, NES, all that stuff. Back then when I was a kid, when I was a kid around a fucking retail, you know what they sell? I remember they used to sell a fucking Atari system back then. That was like, ain't that something? But yeah, my friend got a bit more heated than during the fucking video game piracy thing because it's like because he says he brought up like for example Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, and there are some people that pirated it. You know what's the surprising thing? When people that pirated Rising, they can play it online, and I'm sitting here like, oh shit,
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. I think it's perfectly fine to pirate video games if you're not certain you're gonna like it, unless they've got a really good refund policy or something.
Maybe it's just that
I feel like if you're not giving them a chance, like
Well, that's where we started and we dug into it and we got to the cutscenes thing.
If it feels like you're not giving like a whole medium a chance to potentially impress you with storytelling, like I'd say my
I've been playing video games for 30 years. What are you talking about?
But if
so we haven't known you for 30 years. We're going off what you're telling us.
But
dang, he plays video games for over 30 years. What
How
the?
old is he?
Doomer?
Yeah, or whoever's been playing for 30 years since I don't know them by name.
He's probably in his 30s.
I've played 17 minutes of Lego Indiana Jones and they wouldn't refund me.
Oh wow,
because,
that's
weird. Just because when I purchased it, it was like quite a while before I played it.
I thought the refund policy for Steam is like if you as long as you pay up to like 2 hours, you can actually like.
Yeah, I definitely played less than 2 hours. Let me see if I can find my email.
That's so weird. Like
Steam.
Is this just maybe it doesn't work because you have to play it within the first 2 weeks and up to 2 hours? Maybe I could be wrong. I don't really keep up as much. I don't really use Steam as much because I'm more of like playing. I mean, I use Steam from time to time. Like, hey, it'll be like, hey, you want to play a game with me? And such and such. Yeah.
Here. I sent this out on July last year, and I purchased it on around actually it's literally Christmas.
We will
Day.
not be granting a refund at the time the data purchase had already exceeded the 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, I think that's weird. I guess that explains it because if it already exceeds the past 2 weeks, and
yeah,
I mean, I really wish it's like up to. That's I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing when it comes to
also, there are some games that I just don't think are worth the money that I think you should pirate, but I understand if you don't want to for moral reasons, or if you're like concerned that your computer might receive a virus.
I mean, the only thing I did was, the only time what's the weird thing? Like, I heard like the thing to see. Usually, like when I torrent, like off of like, or like if I want to watch if I want to torrent anime and all this stuff, I usually don't like. I can get away with it just fine. But if I'm like, thing is like, I hear like if you torrent like regular movies or like others that within like the current on the West, I hear like if you do it on Wi-Fi, then you can actually get like banned. You can get like a warning or something like that.
Do it without a VPN or similar.
So if it's like if it's just like regular movies, regular games, and stuff like that. Like I hear like your ISP can like ban you or give you a warning or something like that.
Or they can just like soft lock you or whatever.
Pretty much, but like I did it with. I do like a visual novel here and there, or like some anime and stuff like that. Like with torrents, it's like I'm pretty sure I didn't really get any warning or anything. I do it like one at a time, so.
But also, like, if you say in that time that there's like not a single story.
Oh yeah, getting back to he says he plays video games for like 30 years. I'm like, wow, that's a bit of a flex there. I mean, I've been playing video game. My discovery of video games was like probably around when Halo was released at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Also, like, I don't know how you can get heated over this. I'm like, this is kind of awkward for me to watch through. Like, I don't know if I'm like we're rambling on for over 5 minutes in, and we're not really making any good takes here to react to.
That you cared about, except for like 1 or 2 examples. I'm not really sure. Like that does feel like a case of you're not really giving them a shot, because it's
I've talked to people who don't like violent movies, and they've been watching movies for 60 years. It doesn't like they just don't like it.
It's like saying I don't like stories in movies.
I mean, there's people who don't like movies. If someone doesn't like movies and they've seen a bunch of movies, they just don't like them. And you're you're not going to be getting a chance. They're like, I've been watching movies on for.
I think that there was a substantive difference between somebody saying I don't like video games.
There are people that also don't like music as well, but because
it's
like a fair enough choice.
It seems like bizarre, especially when your complaint was about cutscenes.
I'm saying that I'm expressing a preference. I never made a descriptive claim about something being bad or a prescriptive claim about the way video games should be made. I just expressed a preference that I don't care about storytelling and I hate cutscenes because what I want to do is play the game. I don't care about the stories. That's all I said at any point.
And then we said, have you ever played a game with the good story without cutscenes? And you said, give me an example, as if it's not possible.
And then we did.
Okay, again, you're
that's the part that I'm stuck on.
Said.
I don't care about that opening foundation. I was on that
I'm asking for you. I'm giving you an opportunity to be like, hey, maybe I'm wrong, and you didn't give me anything that changed my mind.
I gave you examples of good stories that don't have cutscenes, or at least the minimum.
You think are good stories?
How the fuck am I going to give you examples of what you think are good stories?
That's again, you're treating it like a fucking debate. I was just asking for
You asked me for the examples. What do you mean?
Yeah, and I don't agree with your examples.
Hey, Mola, can you provide me examples of what I like? Oh, you can't. Got you.
The thing is that you can't.
We're over several minutes in, and it just feels like a heated discussion enough. I'm pretty sure it's way more. It feels like a debate. Do you think it's a debate?
It's basically turned into one. If it wasn't before, I would say it is now.
Like, I mean, I get the point. Like, if you're in a voice chat with like a bunch of people, and I'm normally like, I feel like, well, I don't know. That's the odd part. Like if they weren't talking over each other, and maybe like maybe Doomer could have like explained, like maybe Doomer could have just explained the reasons why. I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry.
The thing is people like to get their point across in a multi-person debate just because they feel that they are more important than somebody else. Is just the way I'd put it. And if you start talking louder, you're going to be naturally more heard than somebody that isn't talking louder. Like, say, for example, you and me will pause for each other. But say, for example, I'm talking right now, and then you just wanted to interject, and then you started talking really, really loudly. I'd probably just like shut up and let you say your piece, right?
Yeah, so
that's what I feel like is going on here.
So basically, whoever has the loudest megaphone.
I'm kind of doing it right now. See, like you just kind of stop if I'm talking over you, and that's not like me trying to be rude. It's just me like showing, hey, if you talk over motherfuckers, they'll usually shut up, and I feel like that's happening here.
I mean, let's be real. We all have the fucking habit of doing so.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it feels like whoever has the loudest megaphone it gets to be the center of attention. That's how it feels. That's how it feels in this segment of the podcast. Oh shit!
You're treating it like a debate. It was never a fucking debate. I just told you I don't like stories in video games. Why are you fucking turning this into some big fucking argument?
You'd already turned into a debate when I said it's theoretically possible, and you're like, yeah, but I want examples.
Well, by the way, you can't disagree with examples you haven't played because you have like no.
I didn't disagree with them. I said I haven't played them. You mentioned some game journey. I've never played it.
Didn't you just say like 10 seconds? Sorry, am I actually like, losing my mind here? I thought like 10
I think you guys are. I don't know.
Never talk about a video game which you have like no insight about. I mean, the thing is, like, I can still like watch people play the video game on stream, and I can still find like some sort of understandable make some thoughts and stuff like that. It doesn't mean I mean I don't get. Okay, so here's the thing that like, do I have to play the video game myself to have like the opinion, or does watching other people play the game does not count to give my thoughts?
On what the opinion given is. So say for example somebody says the gunplay in, I don't know, let's just say that there's a new game, we'll call it Lego Halo. Say Lego Halo comes out and it's a first person shooter, and somebody was talking about the gameplay is really good and the guns feel really smooth, and then you said, actually, I've never played the game, but I really don't like how the guns handle, then your opinion is instantly null and invalid because it makes no sense. However, if you were like to say, oh, you know what, Fortnite really shouldn't be having these crossover skins. I don't play Fortnite, but it just kind of kills any soul the game has. Or if you're like, oh, I really don't like I really don't like the art style in this game or something. Those are valid criticisms to give if you haven't played the game. That's how I feel about it.
Fortnite has been collabing with a lot of anime-related stuff as often. Yeah. Speaking, but that's not. I thought it was pretty amusing.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, it's all simple to me.
You just can't admit that you right.
Yeah, you said something dumb.
I did nothing wrong.
No matter what you say,
idiots. I did nothing wrong. Jesus Christ!
Oh, I know you feel that way, but it was really straightforward. You fucked yourself over when you said
that. It's straightforward. I just told you I don't like something. I didn't say anything about it being bad or wrong. I didn't say there's anything wrong with you liking these things.
Do you remember the part where you said you need an example, not the theoretical? Do you remember that happened?
That doesn't. How does that mean that I'm impugning something about what
we provided you examples?
Yes, I'm saying I don't like it. Maybe there's an example I haven't thought of that I would like. That doesn't.
Why would you ask us for examples of things we couldn't possibly provide? It would only be you that could provide that. Why would you ask us for it?
Because you're fucking arguing with me. You're acting like what I'm saying is insane. And I'm like, okay, fine.
So to be fair, what you're saying is insane.
And I'll reconsider my position.
To be fair, what you're saying is insane, by the way, just for the meta.
I just think it's
oh yeah, it's insane to have a preference. Okay.
No, that's not at all what I said. That's not what I said.
I don't know how you've gotten onto this thing where this like should be a debate. This is equivalent to me saying I don't like horror movies, and you respond as though I'm saying that horror movies.
If you'd said I don't like horror movies, and I said why, and you said because I don't like acting, I would have had the same fucking issues with you.
Yeah, that's more what I was getting at.
I don't know who started it. So.
Yeah, but like I think that we understand your premise as.
No, I don't think you do, or you wouldn't be arguing with me.
You have to walk that
one. No, but I was trying to put it in words for you, just so you'd understand, kind of, or at least where I seem to understand it, because I don't want to say like speak on behalf of others. But it was more that it seems like you're being very dismissive of an entire element of a medium.
Yes,
and saying,
I am.
But I mean, do you not see that without a lot of experience?
I've been playing video games for 30 fucking years. I have probably 30.
I mean, I feel like it doesn't help that. Well, the thing is, like, Doomer is getting a little bit too overreact. He's a little bit too heated over something that is in video games. I don't think you can get heated over video game discussion as often, as far as I remember. Like, I mean, sure, like if you're getting, I mean, if you're doing like something like really serious type of shit, like politics and all that, yeah, you can get pretty easily.
No, I think it's fair to get heated if it's like over a certain. I don't know. It just depends on the topic, but I think it's fair.
I guess it really depends on the topic that people discuss about. But it's like, I think it's understandable to get heated, but it's like the thing is like when you put yourself in Doomer's shoes, like you also have like a bunch of people, like whoever has the loudest megaphone within the discussion to be a part of, to be the center of.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like, if let's say if I have a bad take, of course, so like, I mean, I guess it really depends, but it's usually like, I'll give a reason this, and then I could just leave it at that. But it's like, there's always going to be some conflicting moments.
3,000 hours in video games. What are you talking about? That need more experience? I've played so many fucking video games. How many more video games do I need to play?
Dude, DSP has played a lot of video games.
But when you're playing them, do you care?
That's nice.
About are you watching the cutscenes? Are you paying attention to the story, or are you just figuring out, okay, what's my goal for the next thing?
But try not. And I was just put on Earth. And I just like, I was like, I just fucking hate video game stories, and I've just been avoiding them. No, it's because I've played them for my entire life, and I've never given a shit. It doesn't affect me the way that it affects you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your experience.
One or two that you really didn't care about or didn't like when you first started playing video games.
Okay, can you please fucking believe me that I've played a lot of fucking video games? Okay. Literally 30 years.
I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying that
what does it look like when you're playing a game, like with a cutscene, like when the cutscene starts? Like, are you watching it?
Pull out your phone?
So the first thing I'm going to do is press escape to try and get through it. Then I'm going to press spacebar to try and get through
That's my point.
What?
Yeah,
that's
I
don't like them.
I'm just saying.
So just to be clear, you're telling me that I am playing video games wrong, and that I would definitely enjoy
you are observing
okay, yeah.
And if I said, if you want to have a learned
I'm glad that you said that. That's interesting.
But to be fair, would I be watching movies correctly if I skipped all the scenes with male actors?
If I skipped all the words in a comic book, would I be able to tell you about the writing?
If you had a preference for not liking violent movies and you purposefully didn't watch violent movies because you had tried to watch a bunch of them, didn't enjoy them, and knew that you wouldn't like them, no, you're not watching movies wrong.
No, if I was critical of the story in video games, and then I said because I skip all the violence.
Damn, I didn't get a bar off my house. I really need to go back to bar farming at some point.
I've interacted with the stories of games. You guys are talking to me like I'm a fucking moron. Do you think I haven't played video games?
I mean, no.
I mean, I'm a moron. I'm like, I've been pretty sure I've been rambling like some pretty dumb shit for the over 50 minutes by now, but I don't know. When it comes to being an idiot, it also depends on the situation as well. Like, I mean, but me and Caesar talking, you've been rambling some idiotic shit all the time. I don't think any issue with that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some people that can disagree.
No, we don't know exactly. Like, all we know is what you've told us, and you've told us
But
that
I
you seem
don't.
to be
How is this
extremely
so hard to
dismissive
get
of
through
the
your
concept
fucking
of
head
cutscenes.
that I just don't
Well,
like?
doesn't it give you pause for
storytelling?
thought that
not.
everyone
No, I
here is
get- I get
confused
that
by
you
what you're
don't like
saying?
I get that you don't like them, and I'm not trying
Okay,
to
first of all,
argue.
ER is not confused. I'm pretty sure ER understands this pretty well.
I think I kind of get his point. He just
Wait.
doesn't
In
like-
that case, ER, explain it for us.
Okay, so well, I mean, there are obviously two elements to games: there's the story element and the gameplay element. He obviously just enjoys that one element and doesn't give a shit about the other.
Well, yeah, but what about the part where he said, "Give me an example of a good story that doesn't have any cutscenes"?
And were we able?
I mean, I'm playing Grand Blue Fantasy right now, and I've skipped story. I mean, I've talked to people that that also does all of it, and they love the fucking Grand Blue Fantasy main story quest, the current one. I don't got anything against it, but when it comes to me, like, I mean, I got called out for, talking about being discussing about story without having prior knowledge. I can admit that. But,
Okay, I just thought of one example that isn't politics related. People can get really heated over should Halo have sprint or should Halo not have sprint.
Oh, yeah. As far as I know, no, because Halo Reach has like, so they have like power-ups related stuff, like go from sprinting,
Equipment.
jetpack, exactly.
Well, loadouts type thing.
Yeah, like armor loadouts. But I usually, but the thing is, like with Halo Reach is like I like either sprint or like using like jetpack and stuff like that. Oh, I love drop shield. Drop shield can be pretty helpful too.
I love armor lock personally. I can't play without it. It's so fucking stupid and funny. But just in general, actually, Halo's an excellent example of games where people will get really heated over really small shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, sprint and Halo. I don't think it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, the thing is, like, we were playing Halo 1. There was a level that we took so much fucking walking, or Halo Reach had so much walking, unless we had to rely on a fucking vehicle. Holy shit! Actually, no. I use sprint as an armor loadout, but still, yeah. Jesus Christ.
To give that to him, that
Several, yeah. No, none that we can't.
I prefer.
How can he's already set the parameters that he doesn't like any of them.
I wasn't having a debate.
Exactly, so that's kind of a futile exercise.
Well, then why didn't he say that instead of asking us for examples?
Well,
because you're challenging me.
Because he's changed. Because he's retconning the conversation.
No, I'm not retconning the fucking conversation. If you guys are gonna jump down my fucking throat and act like I'm a fucking moron, it's like, okay, well, hey, how about
maybe
I'll
you
be
should
open to
chillax
this.
because we're not jumping.
What video games?
No.
What video games do you have?
Literally, dude, you said something dumb and then you said a smarter thing after it. That's all that happened.
I'm not letting it go this time. This has happened several times. I'm not letting it go this time. I didn't say anything stupid. You guys are being fucking stupid.
Definitely.
When you say you're not letting it go this time, are you saying that you're suggesting that what you said about arcade was correct?
I'm saying that I don't think you understood my point when we were talking about the fucking prison section in Arcane. That's not even what I was thinking about. But I didn't say anything remotely wrong. In fact, there is nothing that I said today that is even slightly objectionable. I just said that I don't like something. I didn't try. Again, I'm gonna say this for the 4th or 5th time. I can't imagine how this hasn't sunk in yet. I didn't say there's anything wrong with you enjoying stories in video games. I didn't say that video games should be made without stories. I didn't say video games shouldn't have cutscenes. I didn't make any prescriptive claim about how video games should be made or about how you should enjoy video games. I just said there's something that I don't like. And I'm sorry, but yes, having played video games for 30 fucking years, I know my own preferences and that I don't like these things. No, I'm not suddenly just going to start liking these things if I start watching them. Again, I have plenty of experience playing video games to know that just like ER said, I want to go around and hit rocks and collect shit and fucking craft shit. That's what I want to do in video games.
That's
for the most
beautiful.
part.
And if you had said that to
Is he mentioning Minecraft or Terraria?
Not necessarily.
He said something about crafting shit.
Plenty of games of crafting and shit.
I mean,
you could say, oh, that's Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy you hit rocks and you craft shit.
Oh, he's talking about.
It's
Oh,
probably not what he's referencing. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, I feel like there's so they've been really. I feel like there's so much fucking survival games out there to the point that there's so many of them. I mean, I can name a few that I enjoyed back then: Minecraft, Terraria, Project Zomboid, um, The Forest.
Then you hit
At some point,
Rocks and Rust.
Rocks and oh that. Yeah, I heard that
Could be
about
wrong,
that.
but
I
you could be referencing a lot of things.
yeah, you could be Yeah, you could be
To be
referencing.
fair, Minecraft is what I thought of first as well.
Yeah, I thought he was mentioning Minecraft. I mean, Minecraft doesn't have a fucking story, so it's just a sandbox game at this for Minecraft. And same goes for Terraria. Oh, that's another thing that people.
Fire's kind of got more of a story to it. And also, you can then argue, how do you define what has a story? Do you count like self-crafted stories? I'm assuming not. Can you piece together a story from Terraria, sort of? You could argue, hey, does Dark Souls have a story? Yeah, kind of. But you could also make an argument, no, not really, because it's just like various different things happen. And sure, I would say it definitely does. But if someone were to say, well, you just kind of fight things in order, and the order you fight them in just happens to vaguely resemble a story, and it's got a cutscene here and a thing there, and this, that, the other. I wouldn't be like, you're. Well, to be honest, I do think they would be a bit crazy for thinking it doesn't have a story. But if you were to, I'm not sure what I'm cooking with this actually. If someone were to say, "Oh, Dark Souls is," it's got minimal story shown up front. Most of its story you have to like piece together. If that makes more sense, that's a better way of phrasing it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if like crafting and like sort of like I don't know if progression of like from crafting like basic stuff to like advanced like really end game stuff would count as a story, because if anything it's just part of gameplay. It's part of the gameplay. So I can't really make that kind of argument.
Okay, so I don't really remember too much about Terraria, but isn't it something like, oh, the guide, you kill the guide and then he turns into the boss, and then you enter part 2. That's kind of a story in its own way through environmental story. Well, does that count as environmental storytelling? Through it's like it builds its own story rather than like, oh, there's a cutscene that shows this, that, the other. But there's dialogue based off of that, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are some roguelike games that have like environmental storytelling too. Because I think I remember I used to play Rogue Legacy, and they have like certain like interactable like books to read through.
Yeah.
To begin with, we'd all be on board.
That is what I said to begin with. I haven't said anything else the entire time.
No, it's not.
ER, please back me up.
I mean, it's literally streamed, so.
Okay, so what's the objection again?
So he was complaining about the existence of.
Man, we are rambling over an hour in. This is like a screaming contest at this point that we're listening through. Not really. We're not even progressing anywhere at this point. Oh god.
The stories to care about, and we were like, oh well, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, fucking cutscenes, I want to play the game. And the first thing our minds go to is like, oh well, just a game without cutscenes then. And then he says, give me an example. And we're like, it's theoretically possible, environmental storytelling. He's like, I need an example. Like, okay, so we got like Soma and whatever, Journey, whatever else was mentioned. And then he's like, I don't give a shit about them. It's like, that doesn't help us at all. You already played them.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a shit answer. That doesn't answer the question at all. That's useless. He needs to go play those games.
For examples and then say,
yeah, that's what happens next is him saying, I haven't played those. Let me play them and then I'll get back to you.
Did he say he hasn't played Soma? Although,
Doomer, have you played Soma?
So if you haven't been paying attention to ER, it's okay.
Yeah.
Soma.
I mean, you don't really have to like buy and play the game yourself in order to have like a part. God, man, again with this statement, like this, like again, does not watching your friend like stream whatever particular game even count? Not even count.
I would count. It depends on the game though and what the opinion is.
Yeah. Oh man, just 5 minutes more. Just God help me.
It does kind of have cutscenes. There are areas where you
No,
do
I
have
said
to, like,
there are minimal cutscenes in Soma.
Yeah.
There's virtually none.
Wait, so I would need to go play the games that you're talking about to stake out the claim.
there's
I haven't
virtually
played enough video games in my life to have this position.
That's
I
not what I
think
said.
nobody's
I mean,
claiming
how did you just take what I said and turned it into all that?
That's word for word what you just said.
No,
1 minute ago, you said to go play Soma and get back to us. That's exactly what you
When
just
you
said.
ask me for an example
saying
and I give you one, you
try
said I
playing-
haven't played it, so I don't give a shit about it. Then try playing it.
And it's an
don't
example of
want
a game
to.
with a story with minimal to no cutscenes.
Exactly.
And I said I'd buy a copy. If you have me on Steam, I will give.
Hell yeah,
you
I'd buy you Soma for you.
You don't need. You don't,
Journey is
Yeah,
like
dude,
10
first of all,
Soma's
I need.
great.
First of all, I need to work. I have fucking work to do. I need to play fucking video games.
Journey,
right now.
you can play in 2 hours. It's not
But
a
like,
long game.
so again, just to be clear, now you're saying I haven't played enough video games in my life. I need to
I
play
just,
more.
I
no
think,
one's
I think
claiming
you might
that.
enjoy the storytelling.
I
in the
can't
one that
understand this
recommending
for
and
you.
I'm offering to buy for you. I'm trying to be super nice.
Have an Odin moment.
I'm giving up.
Yeah, nobody's. I don't think anybody's claiming that you're inexperienced in video games. or
No,
anything like
nobody
that. I
has.
think
You
just
keep
the
Then
saying
why
that,
would
though.
I need to go play another
He has been
game?
playing games for 30 years.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like
Over
you had said,
3,000
like
hours from what I hear.
I just expressed a preference.
the problem came from the fact that you had come here. I'm here saying like, oh, video games, like their stories, I hate them and stuff like that. But then you gave qualifiers chances to like them, but then you barred them anyway. So that's why people are frustrated.
Yeah.
Did he though?
Yeah, that's why it
Yeah.
triggered everybody else.
He said give me
He asked
examples,
for
and here's the
potential
examples, and he
examples.
said fuck them. I don't like them anyway because I don't like stories. Like what? Well, then don't ask for examples. Just keep that
Well,
as
you
your
guys
central
pushing-
point. I don't like
pushing
stories in
like,
video
okay,
games.
give me examples, and then you gave some examples. He's like, well, no, I don't actually prefer these.
No,
so
he said he doesn't fucking care about the examples.
Yeah.
That's literally where the conversation broke.
Right.
It's a really simple area for where the conversation broke. He misspoke. He should have said, "Oh,
I did not misspeak. There was nothing that I said that was a
never
misspeak.
mind. Why did
I
I
don't
try?"
understand.
Fool that you are, Mahler. Fool that you are.
I mean, when you get really heated, you can easily misspoke, and when you're in the middle of panic. So.
No, but
if I again,
this conversation
when I
wouldn't
say-
have happened. Sorry.
When I say, can you give me examples? I'm not invoking a debate. I'm saying, hey, maybe I'm wrong. If you can give me an example of something that I've played that I would care about, then maybe I'm wrong. If you give me examples of games that I haven't played, obviously I won't give a shit about them. I haven't played them.
Well, how is anybody meant to know what games you played?
I know,
How is anybody meant
that's
to know
tough.
that? That's come on, you know
Again,
that's
okay,
ridiculous.
we're not in a debate. I'm just asking you.
So
for
why
guidance.
did
you ask for
What does that have to do with
no,
Pingy's
sorry,
question?
hold on, back up. So if you say, give me examples, and then we provide examples, have we fucked up because we don't know what games you
I
played?
didn't see you fucking. We're in a fucking debate. I just told you I don't like
Yeah,
something.
so when you said, I need examples, and we said the theoretical should suffice, you said no examples, and then we provide them. You should have said, no, I need examples that
Because I
include
didn't
ones
know
I've
what you were
played.
talking about, and
You should have
wanted
said,
examples
yeah,
of games I haven't
if
I mean, if I'm going to be discussing with a friend who does not like story in video games, and he asked me, okay, give me the examples. All right, okay. So here's what I'm going to say. Okay. So you may not like isometric games, or first person like okay. First two Fallout games, Wasteland. There's also like, if you're into first-person like shooter, like a sci-fi nonsense, you play Halo. There's also some few JRPGs out there which can, the old Fire Emblem games, for example, have a pretty good story. I can give you like Sacred Stones, or the one where you play as Ike. Yeah, Radiant. I think it's Radiant Dawn. Is it Radiant Dawn?
Radiant Dawn, Path of Radiance.
Yeah, Path of Radiance. Yeah, Path of Radiance. Wait, fuck. Hang on. I don't want to make this make stuff. I don't want to make myself look like I'm fucking retarded. Yeah, Radiant Dawn is the sequel of the Path of Radiance. Yeah. I don't know. The only gripe I had with Radiant Dawn is that like you need to have like max stats of the characters from like Path of Radiance before you could transfer this, the data over. But as far as I know, Radiant Dawn is like, well, okay, there was this one map in Radiant Dawn where like you're in like a forest, you're ambushed, but you don't have any units that are flying because it's part of the story. But it's a frustrating map. Other than that, like.
If what you're saying is honest right now, what you would have said is, no, can you keep suggesting ones until I've hit one that I've actually played? That's what you would have said.
You've changed your mind.
But you changed it. I say that like almost word for word.
No,
I don't. No, you didn't.
You said I don't give a shit.
And I think you've changed your mind basically.
Yeah.
Or like you're misremembering the conversation. Like I don't know.
Okay, so just to be clear, this is a great example of what I was talking about earlier. So if I go back earlier and I fucking take notes on what we said in this conversation, is there any chance that you will admit that you're wrong?
Why did you get mad at me when I went backward to try and figure out exactly the things that you said? You said that I was like trying.
I didn't get mad at you for going back. You haven't. Again, I know exactly what I said. Again, you can't win this. I know what I said. There's nothing wrong with what I said. I expressed a preference for not liking something. You guys are the ones who turned this into a fucking debate.
Again, there were a couple of times when, because I was legitimately struggling to like remember like exactly what had been said, that I went back, found out what it was, a statement that you were denied, and then I said it, and then nothing came of that. Which is, it's not like, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of odd. Is like, these are things that were said.
If I say I fucking hate cutscenes, I don't think I can think of a single video game where I gave a shit about the story. If I make a statement like that, the point of the statement isn't to say there are definitely zero games.
Remember, I've never played a game with a story. What does that mean if you skip the cutscenes?
This is just too supremely autistic.
Yeah.
I've already checked out.
Hello. Oh, thank God it's over. Okay, I'm gonna be real for this. I feel like everyone is screaming at each other at this point. Oh, that was so exhausting. Like, I feel like even with all the shit that we've been like spewing about like agreements and disagreements and all that shit, I don't think we're not even progressing. Like this is a fucking disaster. But yeah, that's every frame of pause highlight. Anyway.